Hello, my lovely peaches. I just wanted to pop on real fast and say I just cried. Matt LeBlanc posted on his Instagram a beautiful tribute to Matthew Perry, his friend. And the reason I wanted to jump on this video is to just say, kind of like as a follow-up of the video I made last night about Stephen Twitch Boss. And how when he supposedly took his own life, despite the fact that he had not claimed that that was something he ever wanted to do, his wife claimed that he never talked about anything like that and she had no idea. But the day after, she immediately put out a statement. Well, just a real quick recap in case you're not familiar with what happened. December 13th, 2022, Stephen Twitch Boss, who had just turned 40 years old. Well, let me back up. So December 10th of 2022, Allison Holker and Stephen Twitch Boss celebrate their 9th year wedding anniversary, happily posting each other on Instagram the next day, or maybe even on the 12th. They posted a dancing video like they usually always do, dancing together in their house. So December 13th of 2022, Allison Holker, Stephen Twitch Boss's wife, drove herself to a police station, walked in and said, "I'm concerned and worried about my husband. He left the house last night. He won't answer my calls. We did not have a fight, but I'm worried about him." And just hours later, his body was found at a hotel a couple miles away from their home. Supposedly, the first story was that he had taken an Uber to the hotel, but when there was no Uber found, then supposedly he walked. And supposedly there was a note that referenced past issues. I don't believe the note has ever been released, and it was determined almost immediately that it was a suicide. And she claimed that she didn't know there were any problems, that he never talked about suicide or mental health problems or issues, that she was totally unaware that he had problems like that. And his friends said that he hadn't complained about something like that. I did once see a video clip of him many years ago, or maybe it was in an article.
It keeps going, no matter what, even if something seems very devastating, like there's some kind of force that's going to keep going. It's a constant work in progress. Your bounce back immediately doesn't have to be this like Hollywood story.
Like you're writing the intro to a book. And
Dog.
like, I had the gun in my hand.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And meanwhile, like it was some trivial shit. I'm just looking at myself. This is something I've for sure done.
So Aubrey Marcus actually did 2 interviews with him that I could find. This one is 9 years ago. I can't believe there's only 232 views. That is insane. Okay. He interviews him here.
I should be. Exactly. You know, like I can be that and everything. Exactly. You know, I mean, I'm actually literally a poet, and that's another thing that has a weird stigma. Oh,
That's
you write
Aubrey.
poetry. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
you must take it in the butt. You
Right.
like
Exactly.
poetry,
But see,
but no.
totally misunderstood. It's because they don't do it. And
Right.
for those that do write and appreciate poetry, they go, "Oh, that's really cool."
Right.
And with that, they realize because writing poetry is just another beautiful way of expressing yourself. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So for those that knock poetry, it's just like, well, okay, well
Maybe, you know, that's a good point. Maybe what I think, if it's actually putting yourself out there, it has to be coming and exposing some part of yourself. You're actually putting yourself out there. You're making poetry with your body or your words or your emotions, but you're allowing that to be touchable, and I think that scares the shit out of people.
Oh, of course.
So if they don't
Okay, and then there's this other one
college for that, or what are you gonna do?
where he talked about he
just
didn't.
because they didn't.
His parents didn't know
I did mine. I mean, watch.
about dance, and
I
this
remember
was
going
7
up,
years ago.
and I did mine. And then when I landed, I heard Robert in the crowd go. I was like, yeah, like, I was like, nailed that. You know what I mean? But that was like, that was the support that I had, man. Robert was behind me. My younger brother DeAndre was behind me, and you know, my parents. It took a little convincing, just because they didn't know anything about a dance career or a dance path, because we didn't really know any dancers, you know, so they didn't know where you could go or what you could do with it, or, you know, can you go to college for that, or what are you going to do? You know, they didn't know those things. Mm-hmm. So it was it was definitely a process. Of course, you have your guys it's calling you ballerina and twinkle toes and all that. You know what I mean? But
what do you think is, you know, it's almost like that phenomenon of like gay bashing or something like that. It's like, what about you dancing is threatening to people? Not you in general. What is it about dancing that's threatening to people? Is it threatening their masculinity somehow?
Yeah, it's threatening
But
their
why?
masculinity.
But what? Let's bore it down. Let's figure out what that is.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the misunderstood.
Okay, this was before he even got married.
Me,
Look at that.
especially, it was just a misunderstanding, because I was as big as the guys that were mocking me. So it was never and that was the funny thing, is it was never a physical threat. It was always just kind of verbal, because I was just as big as they were. I could have been on the football field or on the dance team. You know what I mean? It was one of those things. So I think it's one of those things. It's like, well, wait, like you're built like that, but you're gonna dance though?
Yeah.
I just don't get it. So what does my boy think about? Oh, you think that's gay? Yeah, that is. You know what I mean? Rather than thinking for yourself and being like, well, I guess that's pretty cool. Like, he seems like a pretty cool guy. You know, you don't understand it. So then the first whiff of any kind of opinion from somebody close to you, you easily latch on to that. You know what I mean? It's like you don't understand it, and then you hear somebody close to you say what they feel about it, and you go, oh yeah, I can kind of understand. Okay, yeah, like, you know.
So I'm going to go ahead and link both of those podcasts if you have any interest in listening to the full thing yourself. So back to the video. But first, before I get back to the video, I do want to say, from what I have listened to so far tonight, he seemed to be quite open, quite vulnerable, quite able to express himself emotionally. So, of course, that could not be true, but it actually makes me feel even more suspicious. Because if he's that strong and he's been through that much, question mark. That video was like old. So the whole thing that was suspicious to me was that on December 14th, Allison Holker released a statement saying, it's with the heaviest of hearts that I have to share that Stephen has left us. And that's basically what this is about. And I remember at the time thinking, first of all, the statement was fucking whack. Like, who the fuck says what she said immediately after you find out that your husband is dead? Like, it was so bizarre to me that, first of all, that she even had a statement prepared. Like, who in their right mind can even formulate a thought to make sense and to be all like, oh, he was a light in this world? Like, what? What? Like, what? Okay. So the reason I wanted to point this out was because Matt LeBlanc just posted for his friend, and all the friends, Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Matt LeBlanc, David Swimmer, and Lisa Kudrow, they had put a statement out. So it was like 2 days later, they all put out a joint statement, and I only saw Matt LeBlanc's today. I don't know if everybody else also did one, but it's been 2.5 weeks, and that just seems normal. Like, that seems like, yes, you would be shocked. Also, I remember that when Takeoff was murdered from Migos, Offset and Cardi B, they also didn't put out a statement or post anything. I don't know if it was 2 weeks, but it was like an extended amount of time. And I remember, again, at the time thinking, that seems normal. That seems like how a regular, that seems like the average person would be so incredibly devastated about a loss, especially one that was unexpected, out of nowhere, completely shocking, a young, healthy person who had no reason to suddenly be gone. And the average person is not going to be prepared with a statement, all calm and collected, literally the same day. So I just wanted to say, yeah, here's another thing that makes me feel like, what happened to him? I did see some stuff, you know, Ellen obviously has a whole conspiracy about her and all the potentially, allegedly evil things. And I saw somebody make a comment like, well, isn't it weird that he was supposed to testify against Ellen, although I never seen or heard nothing about that. So it's like sometimes people make comments in a comment section. Well, I just checked and nobody else had posted about Matthew Perry today, but so sometimes people make these claims, these outrageous claims in comments, and it's like, well, where's the proof? Where's the link? Where's the research? Like, people just be acting like they have all this insider knowledge, and it's like, okay, random person online who's got no followers, no content, and you're making an outrageous claim in a comment and you have nothing to back it up. I'm not going to believe that. But listening to Stephen Boss's brother and family talk about how Allison Holker has denied them the right to see the children and kept the children away. Again, I mean, from what I've gathered, from what I've looked at, it seems as if Stephen loved his family. Now, it's one thing if you've got a terribly, like I said in my video yesterday, if you've got a toxic mother or a toxic family, then yeah, you wouldn't want to be bringing your kids around toxic family members. And obviously, I have no idea what his life was like. I don't know what his family was like. I don't know what happened for real. And I absolutely respect him, his family, the wife and children. They deserve peace. And of course, you know, the assumption of innocence. But, oh man, everything about it is weird. The story was weird. The way she went to the cops the morning of, like, who does that? Like, it was just bizarre that, so she woke up, he hadn't come home from the day before, his car was in the driveway, so she just drives to the police station. Like, I'm worried about my husband. And then it turns out that he was found dead in a hotel, like 2 miles from their house. But it's just bizarre. Like, who just drives to the police station? You don't just call. I don't know. That just seems so weird. Everything about it has seemed really off and creepy to me. And as we saw with Charlie Adelson, it took 10 fucking years to arrest that man. His mother just got arrested yesterday. Toxic mother. And another toxic mother, Wendy. She's not arrested yet. And I'm hoping she will be. The reason I'm mentioning that is to just say, if something is fishy with Stephen Boss, it might never come out, or it could take a decade. I don't know. I just wanted to say, seeing Matt LeBlanc's tribute post to Matthew Perry today, which was very touching and made me cry, also reminded me, yeah, it's really freaking weird to put out a statement instantaneously. Like, that's not how the average person functions. The average person wouldn't be collected enough to put out such a calm, ready-made statement. And even the statement itself just seems so off-putting. Like, how the fuck are you already okay with it? Like, you just found out. I don't know. Question mark, or is it question mark? I don't know. I'm just putting this out there as like, a what the fuck? Oh yeah, and I just want to add, for all the people who say things like, well, everybody grieves differently. You never know what somebody's going through. You can't compare how this person grieves to that person. True, but how come every single time there's a weird ass response to somebody being gone, missing, DEAD or something, it's always the people whose responses in videos that seem so weird that end up being somebody who had something to do with it? Chris Watts. What about Erin Patterson? She just got arrested. Like, literally every single time we watch a video of somebody saying, oh, just bring my baby back, or whatever, and we know, like, you can tell body language is a real thing. Being able to sense something. I'm not saying that, people are always correct, but a lot of the time when something seems off and weird and fishy, it's because it stinks like a damn fish. Because something's weird. Because it's fishy. All right, I'm going to pop in this little extra part that I was thinking about as well. And while I do that, I'm going to deal with my really effing weird hair. And also let myself do the weird hair thing, because I'm going to talk about hair. I came outside to try to record something, and then the neighbor decided to come home. The nerve. So I just realized I'm talking smack and stuff, and then maybe people don't have any idea about my life, my childhood, my family, because, like, I never really shared about it. I never talked too much at length, and I certainly haven't even, I don't think I've ever even said this. It's because it's like, well, personally, I feel like this part of my childhood, my personal life, is like irrelevant to anything that I've ever shared. But I think, well, like, because of the nature of what I'm about to say, I just want to disclosure. So I am a Caucasian woman. My biological parents are both Caucasian. My biological mother, who I talk about at length in my Toxic Mother video that I shared on Patreon yesterday, is a white woman. She has dark auburn, like red hair, green eyes. Her hair is curly, naturally curly, and green eyes, dark red hair, naturally curly, a white woman. Then my father, and I would say like Russian, Latvian background, some German. My father, then on my father's side, there's German and Russian, Ukrainian. And he was a white man. He had very, the neighbor, he had very baby fine, straight, dark brunette hair, brown eyes. Okay, and then when I was 3.5, well, actually they were separated before I was ever conceived. they had gotten married in 1968, and he had moved out when my sister was about 1 or 2, and then he came back one night, and they hung out, and a month later, I was there. He told me. My sister was born almost 3 years before me. She's blonde with brown eyes. Her hair was blonde through high school, but then like in her 20s it started to get darker. I was born brunette. I was never blonde, and except for when I dyed it. Yeah. And my father married a Haitian woman who was black, beautiful, brown skin. I said she is black, beautiful. Black and beautiful. And they had my brother, and then my mom had a baby also when she was in Haiti with another man who was also Haitian. And so she has a son who is my brother, and he is a black man. And he married a Haitian woman who's a black woman. So they have beautiful, beautiful, chocolatey brown babies. And then my sister married a black man and had biracial babies or interracial babies. And my brother married a white woman. So he's biracial. So his children are still biracial, but they're like fairer than my sister's kids. And then I had my babies with a white, blonde, blue-eyed. Well, he's green eyes, actually. He was born with blue eyes, but they're green. Okay? And I have super, super baby fine kind of curly hair, which came from my white mother with curly hair and my white father with baby fine hair. And throughout my life, nobody knew that my biological mother was a white woman except for, people who knew us, like from back in the day. And I had my fair share of people just like, what? That's your mom? How can that be your mom? Or people like, oh, I see it, because I've got curly hair. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna run around and tell everybody like exactly what I am, who I am, and it was super annoying to me in a lot of ways that people are so fucking rude and tactless and crass, and they think that they can just like ask you stuff. But at the same time, my mom is like the most beautiful, amazing person I've ever known. She's literally my savior, and she's my best friend, and I'm so grateful to her. And my dad didn't have any relationship with anybody in his family, so all our family and friends and extended family were all Haitian. So I'm a unique person. I have a unique history, but I never talk about it because it's like, it really is nothing to do with any of the stuff that I talk about, except this video. I'm getting like things in my socks. Except in this video where I talk about hair, and I talk about biracial, and I talk about curls, and I talk about this and that and the other thing, and grifting, and blackfishing, and maybe trying to be super popular and cool, trying to pretend. I mean, if I wanted to pretend to be biracial, I could have, because I have a black mom, but why would I? So my whole thing is being authentic and learning to love yourself and being the best I can be by being me. It doesn't hold up to my personality to be a grifter. Oh my God, my hair. However, I will say, black is beautiful, and I did spend a lot of years wishing I had just been born black, or that my mom had been my biological mom, and that I had a tan like my brother, and then I had thicker, curlier hair. I mean, I can be honest and say, yeah, I spent most of my life, even now, like, I certainly wish I had more of a tan. I'm not happy that I'm so pale that you can literally see through my skin. Like, I don't consider myself white. I consider myself pink and or see-through. You can see my blue veins. You can see, like, I'm transparent. And in the summertime, I'm not really happy for those white ass pale legs to come out, you know. And you know, like, black don't crack, but white wrinkles like motherfucker. So yes, I can say for sure that there's been a lot of times in my life where I have wished that my mother was my biological mother for many reasons. You know, I wish she was my biological mother just so that I would know what it's like to have a biological mother that is not a horrible person. And so that, you know, I did have nicer, thicker, curlier hair and tan skin, and that I could be cool and that I could, you know, claim to have soul in a way that white people just don't. And maybe when I took that hip hop dance class, I wouldn't have felt like a total freak. like I love to dance. I love modern dance and creative movement and contemporary dance, but put me in a hip hop class and girl is the goofiest, awkwardest, just like cringe fest, uncoordinated knees and elbows. Please just stop. And yeah, I wish that I could be sometimes that fucking cool. But I'm cool. I'm cool for who I am. I am lovable. I don't need to pretend. You know, see how my hair wants to go forward. I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. I can fully embrace who I am and be absolutely amazing, talented, wonderful, lovely, with soul. Who I am, my real self. Get to, like, yes, of course, white people have soul. I have soul. A lot of people do. R&B is my favorite kind of music. It's always been, always will be. R&B. If it ain't R&B, if it ain't like 90s R&B, I don't want it. So, yeah, there is definitely a sense of, I like black people better. And white people suck. Not all. And I'm not like 100% racist against white people. You can't really be racist against white people because systemic racism was set up to disparage black people by white people, but you can hate white people and you can be anti-white people and you can think white people are, you know, the biggest chunk of people who do the worst things in the world do tend to be white. I feel that way. You know, that's the truth, Ruth. And yeah, so there's that. However, I do believe that the most important thing is to learn to love myself for who I am and to embrace that and to acknowledge there are many, many lovable white people in the world. And I'm one of them. Obviously, a lot of people struggle with that issue. So anyway, I'm popping this whole little bit in as my disclaimer before I get into the next part. So the daughter, who I think is still a minor, the oldest daughter, her name is Weslie Fowler. And now, as somebody who likes to be an anonymous creator, and I like to protect the identity of my family, and yeah, I show my children's faces occasionally, but I, you know, I will never reveal their names on this vlog. I like to keep privacy. Whenever I talk about my friends or my family, like my baby's daddy, Hart, that's not his real name. My best friend, Star, that's not her real name. The whole reason is to protect people's privacy. So the reason I'm adding this is because, okay, so when you look online for who is Allison Holker and Stephen Boss Twitch's oldest daughter, Weslie, who is her biological father, because Stephen Twitch had adopted her, you can't find it. There's no information about who her father is. So I had thought, well, I had wondered, I was curious about it, and the way that she's presented on, the way she used to be, well, still, the way she presents does appear as if she's a biracial girl. Let me sit up. And I'm speaking on this specifically from the perspective of, yes, I am a white girl, white lady, white woman, but my mother is black. I was raised by a black woman. My brother is biracial. My nieces and nephews are biracial. And so being that I have a blended family, my mother's grandchildren are literally the entire rainbow, from the most beautiful chocolate skin to all the way up to my son, the blonde, gray-eyed baby, pale skin. Okay, so with that, I was curious about the daughter, and so I Googled who is her father, who's her biological father, and I didn't do like extensive research, to be honest. I only looked for a few minutes, but I wasn't able to find it, and it said, you know, there's no information out there about who the father is of the first child, but it did say Allison gave birth when she was 20, and that her and Stephen Boss got together when Weslie was like 2 or 3 years old, and they got married, and he adopted her. So the reason I was talking about hair, I had to pull my hair back because, girl, I need to go take a shower and shit. But when you Google pictures Weslie Fowler young child, which sounds creepy, but it's not. I mean, maybe it is, but okay, so then you see photos of her. She's got blonde hair, and there's a definite wave to it. All right, so I like to do research. I like to show what I'm talking about. So I went ahead and I screen recorded. This is how she looked as a little girl. And as I'm saying, you can have all kinds of hair. That's how she's looking now. But when you go back and you look at pictures like that, I'm sorry, she just looks like that's regular white person hair. I could be wrong, but it just seems like a big dramatic shift. And it seems as if, so here she's like in high school, it looks like she had her hair curled, but there her hair looks like it's not like that. So I'm just wondering, how come all the pictures of her when she's really little, she looks like a basic white girl to me. And then as she gets older, now all of a sudden she goes from basic little white girl to I got a big old afro. Okay. But because, like I was saying, because of my brother and my niece and my nephew, and yes, of course you can have a variety, a spectrum of types of hair. You can have a black father and a white mother and have blonde hair that's kind of wavy, that doesn't have any type of real curl. But the reason why I'm adding this extra part to the video is putting it under this umbrella of sus behavior, because when I saw pictures of her daughter as a young little girl, there are no pictures at all that I was able to find of Weslie with the type of curl, giant afro that she's been sporting in the last couple of years on her Instagram. So of course I could be completely wrong. There were a few photos like that one where her hair is curly while she's younger, but it still has a different quality. Like, it looks like a white girl who had her hair curled, unlike a biracial person whose curly hair grows up. So all of these pictures are online. The baby's faces are practically blurred out anyway. It's bad quality. Just showing, like, comparing her brother and sister's hair to her hair. So there's one, but that's what I'm saying, like, that looks pretty different. Obviously you can style your hair all kinds of ways. There's so many things you can do. You can straighten thick curly hair for it to be smooth and shiny. I'm aware of that, but these pictures still bring questions to my mind. One of the people I love to follow, let me find her name. This woman I love.
They don't even have the same hair texture as us.
It's mecc.
Let's be real.
11216.
Curly hair, straight hair, it's in between.
She teaches.
It's for all hair textures. It is hair care. It has nothing to do with race. It helps with frizziness.
Okay, so I have curly hair, but it's super baby fine, and it doesn't hold its curl. It looks curly when it's wet. You might have seen me in videos when I come out and I'm like, I just got out of the shower, and then you can see the ringlets. But once I start to comb it or brush it, those things just like fall right out, okay? So the reason I'm saying all this is because I'm not trying to claim that you cannot be biracial and have hair that's fine. Even my mother, who's a black woman, has super fine hair, and yes, it's curly and all that stuff, but it's fine. So get to the point. The point is, I'm trying to avoid saying the word fishing, blackfishing. Okay, it made me think when I looked at the pictures of the little girl as a little girl, and I thought, oh, she had beautiful, thick, blonde, wavy hair. However, it didn't seem in any way to have the texture of hair, like, you know, when you have a certain type of curly hair, like my niece, for example, her father is a black man, her mother is my sister, who's like similar to me. My sister's hair was always lighter than mine and a little thicker, but didn't have any curl like mine does. Hers has like a tiny little bit of a wave, never a curl unless she curls it. And my niece's hair, I don't know if you would call it 2C, 3C, like 2.5C, I don't know, but she had, well, now she hasn't had her hair. My niece has like it's almost like a buzz cut. It's not really a buzz cut because, you know, it like lays really flat, but it's like super, super, super short. And she dyes it black, even though it was naturally like a honey blonde color. But anyway, when you blow dry your hair out or you straighten your hair, look at my hair, so like, you know, hair is hair. Hair is interesting. Hair is beautiful. People gatekeep hair. I didn't even know until recently that some people believe that white people can't even have curly hair, which is kind of weird. The whole point that I'm trying to get at is that when I saw the pictures of the little girl with her hair, and then I saw the pictures of how she looks now, I'm like, is she? So because you don't know who her biological father is, there's no way to know, like, is she actually biracial or is she fucking faking? And I don't know. Ugh, it just seems weird. It seems very weird and creepy to talk about a little girl. I don't know how old she is, but she's still a little girl. And, you know, I believe that you can wear your hair how you want. Her hair does kind of look like a perm to me. Like, it looks almost like, kind of like in the 80s, how white women were having these big afro perms. I don't know. This is almost sort of like, maybe I shouldn't even add this part, but I just want to say it because it's like, is there something weird going on there? Or am I just being suspicious of all that, which is just like nothing, you know? The girl can style her hair how she wants to. I can't stand when people gatekeep things and when they're like, you're not allowed to do this because, you know, you're white or you're not black. But then at the same time, I really do hate when people like Kim Kardashian put box braids or whatever type of thing, and they really are obviously blackfishing. I mean, I hate the term, but it's like, I saw a girl on TikTok the other day, and she's a white blonde woman, and like, I don't like her stuff, so I don't watch her stuff, but it occasionally pops up like on the For You page, and she uses heavy filters and makeup, and like I noticed like over the last few months, like every time she pops up, the filter is darker and darker to the point where when I saw it pop up, actually somebody else used her video in their video, and I was like, what the hell? She literally looks like a black woman. Like, that is very weird. So anyway, I'm adding this whole thing to the video about weird sus behavior of Allison Holker and her daughter, and like, I really wonder what the heck all that is about. How did he just be gone like that, and she's cool with it, and is there something weird going on with the daughter and like pretending to be something she's not, and like, is the mother pushing that on her, and why? And like, again, like I was saying, I deeply believe that people have a right to have privacy, and you know, maybe Allison decided she wanted to be famous, but the father of the child doesn't, or maybe he's not in her life at all, you know, whatever the case is. But I am like curious, who is he? Is he a black man? Is he dead? Is he like, does he even know that that's his daughter? I don't know. Anyway, that's it. See you. Bye. I'm just it stinks, and I'm vegan and I cannot stand fish. So, you know, there's always been those people, the Rachel Dolezal, the Ilaria Baldwin, grifting that she's Spanish. By the way, I did buy the unbrush. I've been waiting. It's supposed to arrive like next week. We'll see. I've been waiting for like a dang month. Oh, my hair. I gotta go deal with that. There's always examples of people who feel like they're just not cool enough being their regular basic self, whatever there is. Oh, I just heard a story about this woman who, she was like a singer and she was grifting for 40 years or some crazy thing, that she was Native American. She was just a regular average white lady, born and raised in like, I don't know, Michigan or someplace. And then she started grifting that she was Native American, or I should say indigenous, and she made her whole entire personality about it, everything she wore, and you know, she did have long black hair, but the whole thing, it's like, why though? Well, I know why. I mean, people, you know, they think that, you know, the whole thing of getting everything done to make yourself look like somebody you're not. And I'm just wondering, is Allison Holker another toxic mother who's like, you know, decided to grift in a way? Does she have anything to do with this situation with her husband's untimely obliteration? Like, I don't get it, you know. And if she is an innocent victim of a terrible mental health tragedy, then my deepest condolences to her and her kids, regardless of, you know, whatever the circumstances are. My deepest condolences to her kids, to her, to his family. And it's just like, it's so weird to me. Yesterday I made an hour and 40-minute video about toxic mothers, and I'm just curious, is she another one of those toxic mothers who would, like Donald Adelson, will literally hire someone to kill the father of her grandchildren because she didn't want him to have control over how they were raised and where they lived? And obviously Wendy Adelson is a toxic mother who would rather have the father of her children dead than have to deal with, like I have to deal with, the fact that my baby's daddy now lives an hour away. That's where he chose to go. And so they only see him, you know, one overnight a week. But actually I prefer that. I hate my kids sleeping out. Now I would like it if he was closer so he could help more with picking them up from school and after school activities and play dates and things like that. But I love him as a human being. I want to make the best of it. The best of it is that the best thing that you could ever do if you have to live raising children apart from their other parent, in my opinion, if the person is not a toxic abuser that you have to, like, literally, you know, protect your health at all costs and stay away from them. And like in my case with my biological mother, unfit parent is an understatement. She was an abuser. She was toxic. Having her as my parent put me in harm's way. I was harmed. And, you know, not every parent is a good parent, and not every situation where you separate do you want to, or can you have a healthy co-parenting situation. But yeah, I'm just going to be keeping my eye out on that and see if it ever evolves into anything. And, you know, maybe it'll be 2033 before we hear Allison Holker getting arrested, or maybe not. You know, there's a lot of people online who say, like, oh, it'll never, ever, ever come out. And maybe it's true. I mean, there's a lot of uber rich, powerful elites in Hollywood, and Ellen is apparently one of them. And there's, you know, people talk about sacrificing, and there's so much weird stuff that I don't know. And anyway, this video got a lot longer than I intended, as always. And oh my god, this just reminded me, that's right, I was supposed to be doing a stretching video. Oh, all right, maybe I'll have a chance to get to that a little later. So join me on Patreon if you want to catch all my videos, never miss a video, whether I share it publicly or on Patreon, and never miss a stretching video. See you, bye. I was gonna post the video. Oh, kid. Yes, kid. Hold on, let me pause this. Okay, I had to serve some vegan ice cream. So I really don't want to make this too much longer, more than a minute or two. But, so I just got out of the shower like less than 5 minutes ago. And as you can see, well, you can see that I only have like 12 strands of hair. And, okay, and they're kind of curly. Oh yeah, I saw a couple of girls get off my son's bus and I was like, oh my god, white girls with totally curly hair. There's 3 of them who came off his bus. It's a real phenomenon. Yeah, let's see.
It does that thing that it does.
All right, so it's like 5 more minutes later. My hair is so fine that it dries in like 15 minutes. But so you can see, not super well. Let me see. Okay, that's how it looks. I'm sure if I used a diffuser and some product and I knew what the hell I was doing and I actually did it, I could probably get it and hold the curl a tiny bit. But yeah, just showing what I was talking about, my hair.